There you are. I was wondering how long it would take my servants to deliver you to me, my dear. As much as I enjoy the songs and hunting calls of my children of the night, you are the main event of my evening. Yes, I do think you are exactly what I'm looking for. I could smell the magic in your blood even from so far away. But now, here you stand before me, and the aroma is simply intoxicating. Who am I? What do I want? Why have I kidnapped you? Oh, my dear, surely you can't be that blind. Perhaps I was too confident in word spreading of my ascension. You see, I am Count Tornenthar, third of my lineage, and now the ruler of the Blood Forest Islands, as well as her surrounding counties and villages, and a large number of other political details that often threaten to bore me back into my grave. No. What you need to know, my dear, is that you are both my guest and the instrument through which I shall secure my place among the night, forever held safe in her immortal embrace. For you see, my dear, simply I am immortal, but that does not mean invulnerable. Even mere days after my ascension to the throne, my court threatens to overrule every decision I would think to make, as well as threaten my very existence. After spending hundreds of years of my undeaths surviving such schemes and power plays, and finally claiming the throne, I simply can't risk losing it all. Not now, not when the night is still so young. Of course, I will inform you of the details in due time, but first, please, sit. I have prepared for your arrival, and while I do admit my excitement led me to gather the dinner a tad prematurely, I assure you it is still quite fresh and quite enjoyable. You hesitate, naturally, expecting poison or foul play, but as I said, my dear, you are my instrument, my tool through which I shall rise above even my own fellow kin. It would gain me nothing to kill you here and now. In fact, it would be the ultimate blow to my plans, which, as you can see, is why I prepared the meal myself. This fact also explains the simplicity of the dishes. It has been some centuries since I personally prepared human cuisine, and I loathe to admit my talents aren't quite what they used to be. But even at my lowest culinary point, I assure you that my offerings are entire kingdoms ahead of the food you've had down in the villas with what the farm animals running about and children. Ugh. The fact that any edible blood comes from such places is beyond even my immortal mind to truly comprehend. Do I plan to feed upon you? No, my dear, that would also be a thorn in the side of my plans. You see, I need you as... Excuse me, but did your lord not tell you to sit? Good. Now, as I was saying, I needed a vessel of whose blood was of the most exquisite nature, untainted, pure in every sense. The soul of the being did not matter whether sinner or saint, but a total avoidance of my kind is key. You see, the bite from a vampire gives something back to the donor as much as the donor gives to the vampire themselves. Every vampire features a unique venom that both numbs the bite and dulls the mind of their prey, removing almost any chance of the human biting back. Feed from the same human numerous times, whether by the same or different vampires, and that human's blood will eventually become saturated with the venom and their mind addicted to the high it provides. This is the most common practice when seeking a thrall. Instead of simply breaking the being's mind and creating a ghoul. Thralls have a much wider range of uses, but I digress from my point. The fact of the matter is, my dear, that I need the blood of a being who has never been fed upon by any member of my court, or any court for that matter. Considering my kingdom now stretches beyond the islands and is verging onto almost every continent in the western area, This was not the easiest of tasks, yet here you sit. A testament to my skills as Lord already, if I do say so myself. Now, considering that you are so pure, I have decided to keep you here with me in order to prevent your exquisite flavor from driving my court mad and ruining this entire plan. Or, quite frankly, letting them know of it at all. If news were to spread of my machinations, then you'd be dead before the evening was over. And even if you weren't involved in my plans, my dear, the sheer potency of your blood would likely attract ghouls, or worse, right to your doorstep. Quite frankly, I have saved your life without you even knowing it. It is rather convenient, unfortunate you have no immediate family, but that simply made the arrangements easier for your relocation. What is my plan for you? My dear, I'm sorry, but I simply cannot give that information away so easily. I have taken every precaution I can think of, but it's simply the truth of the matter that I cannot adapt for every possibility within my court. And if I were to share the information regarding my grandest schemes, I run the risk of it being tortured out of you, or you being enthralled and divulging the information not of your own will. Just as I am providing my quarters to you for your own protection, I am keeping my dark thoughts to myself. The less chances we provide fate to disrupt our goals, the better, though I tell you what your future is. Once you have aided me, I can do that. Everything you see here, my dear, everything the moon touches across the blood forest and beyond, as you will rise above your mortal kin through the very same process that will rise me above my vampiric ones. Not human, not vampire, but the true strengths of both. Even I, in my ascended state, won't be able to match you in the long term. Of course, it may take centuries for you to truly master the fullest extent of your abilities and natural talents, but is it very possible you'd become the most powerful creature of the night? I will explain more when the time is right, but for now I shall show you your basic living conditions here in Castle Corinth. You have guest quarters split off from the side of my own. I say guest quarters, but the size of your room dwarfs even one of the full-size homes back on your villa, so you'll have plenty of space to live and pursue any hobbies you may have. I am not forcing you to work or perform any chores around the castle, as I have numerous servants for such tasks, but I cannot stop you from arranging your quarters in whatever way is most comfortable. If you require any form of aid, assistance, or simply are dying for my company, leave a passage upon my desk in the next room, and I will be sure to aid you as quickly as possible, my dear. As I'm sure you may have gathered, I have an endless list of tasks that demand my attention every night, so I will not be always available for your requests. But as I said, I will do my best to make your stay as accommodating as possible. Are you a prisoner? Why, no, my dear, my prisoners are afforded no such luxuries. I assure you, if they are provided anything at all besides a cold blade to their throat, they are considered lucky. You are a guest, my dear, one held with even higher regards than any vampires of any of my courts. When I am able, I will wait on you personally, and all meals shall also be prepared by myself as to avoid foul play, like I mentioned earlier. I will do my best to improve my understanding of modern human cuisine, so your palate does not become bored or dulled over time. That would simply be a tragedy, my dear. Though, like with everything in life, pros come with cons. As your presence here is known only by me and the few mindless thralls who have no mind to interrogate, you are unable to leave your quarters without my personal consent. At best, any other guests I may have may mistake you for an intruder and kill you for such a crime of trespassing. Or at worst, you are captured, and even what we have discussed is torn from your mind, along with whatever sanity you may currently possess. The risk is simply too great to leave you free to wander the halls. After all, the halls of a vampire court are no place for a living beauty such as yourself. You are so rich and full of life, while my people are worn down by centuries upon centuries of spiritual and moral decay. No, it is nothing I will burden you with, my dear. My kin are simply lost in our own achievement. We own most of the continent and surrounding islands, and given enough moons, even the oceans will not stop our expansion. But what then? Do we simply bring every living mortal under our heel, feed upon them like cattle, eventually stagnate in our own opulence? I, for one, cannot see any other outcome, for even if I do nothing to aid our conquest of humanity, the other lords and ladies beneath me have more than enough power at their fingertips to conquer with or without my consent. Once they own any part of the world that truly matters, the only other option is to fall upon each other, fighting for an advantage over rivals of this or that. The power plays I mentioned earlier are paid for with human blood and immortal blood alike. I've gone off and rambled about politics, haven't I? My apologies, my dear. I'll have a few servants set up to aid you with any attire you take a preference to among my collection, and to prepare your quarters. Remember, I do not recommend you leave your quarters without my escort or consent. And together, you and I will change this stagnating world and show it the path towards a new, brighter future.